So similarly to a chess game where the players always look ahead and they are ahead of their competitors, 10, 15 moves ahead of their competitors. Similarly, entrepreneurs should do the same. And how can they do so? How can they achieve this? Well, there is a tool that entrepreneurs can deploy, and this tool can help them plan ahead of time, gauge investments, but even more than this tool can help entrepreneurs communicate their message, align their message, their objective, their goals to their company and all the employees, the new hires of the entrepreneurs. And that tool is the business plan. What we are going to see in this lecture today will be how entrepreneurs should create a business plan, what are the key reasons to create a business plan, what should be the scope and the value of a business plan, the different type of information from market perspective to operational perspective to finance perspective that entrepreneurs should include in the business plan. And finally, who is the target of a business plan? So often we hear that the business plan is for investors. So entrepreneurs should create their business plans because they want to gauge investments from angel investors or VC or corporate venture capitalists and so on. However, this is only one of the readers of a business plan. And equally important is that the business plan is a crucial document that entrepreneurs can use, especially at the very beginning when they are selling a dream, not only to investors, but also to their employees. And this is equally challenging when finding investment funds to start up a business. So like talents that can join early on a business, considering the high level of risk of a startup, are of course difficult to find, and that's why the entrepreneur should be able to convey what he or she would like to do, how she would like to do this, what's the plan. So without further ado, let's now dig into an introduction of a business plan. Businesses are always planning. Startups plan for their venture creation, but also bigger businesses are planning for new product development, new marketing strategies, and so on. In thereby, there are so many different types of plans. There are financial plans, there are marketing plans, there are operational planning. For example, imagine when you would like to steer digital transformation in your company, and of course, a big chunk of digital transformation will be based on what we define as back-end digital transformation, which means process improvement, process optimization. So here, the key point will be an operation plan on how to improve your operations, how to digitize your operations. However, all these plans have some common characteristics, and the most common one is that they provide guidance and they back up with data the decision that the top management of the organization, or in case of a startup, the entrepreneur will have to make. A business plan is a comprehensive, holistic plan because it basically consists of all these different type of plans. So in a business plan, we have a marketing plan, we have an operational plan, we have a finance plan, and so on and so forth. We will see more granularly about each component of a business plan in the next video lecture. So we can basically define a business plan as an integrated plan in the sense that you will find all the main function of a business: operations, marketing, HR, and finance. For a startup, generally a business plan will cover from 3 up to 5 years. And of course, a startup is a new venture, so many of the data in the business plan, many of the estimation, many of the projection in the business plan will be based on initial assumption, on maybe a minimum viable product that the entrepreneur already launched, on market feedback, but of course it can be as detailed as the plan that a large company may issue. So when we create the business plan, we would like to first of all understand what is the size of investment that we need to foster our new venture. But at the same time, we would like to highlight the market potential, the problem that the company is going to solve, how the company is going to solve it, and overall also like the culture, the values of the organization, considering that the business plan will also help the entrepreneur to hire new talents to join the startup. Who is writing the business plan? So this is generally a job for the entrepreneur himself, but it doesn't mean that only the entrepreneur should be writing all the parts of the business plan, especially when it comes to some technical areas. One area is finance, so the financial part, but also the operational side of a business plan. So in this case, the entrepreneur can either appoint a consultant that can help with this, or in case of a startup with many co-founders, it could be that some co-founders will focus more on the commercial side, the market side, and others will focus more on the technology side of a business plan. One further perspective that we can use when we analyze the business plan is that the business plan is a good way to evaluate. It's a good way to assess what the entrepreneur will accomplish with a startup. So the business plan will help entrepreneurs assess their own skills, so whether they will be able to achieve what they promise to an extent in the business plan, but at the same time will give an assessment of the feasibility of a business. So to an extent, a business plan, even now in this very unpredictable economic situation, business plan is valuable. Valuable in the sense that will help approach in a critical way the venture creation and the first steps of a venture creation, and assess whether the venture, the value proposition, the business model, the profit formula are feasible or not. Feasibility, so it's one of the key objective that the business plan should achieve. And before preparing the business plan, so the entrepreneur should focus on the feasibility of a venture, on the goals, the objective that the ventures may want to achieve, how the entrepreneur will achieve this, what type of technology the entrepreneur would like to introduce to the market, and how the entrepreneur will be able to create this new technology. So this means to have access to human capital, have access to intellectual property, whether these innovations are protected or not, and so on. So this is a sort of like preliminary assessment, which is important to do because otherwise the business plan might not go to the right direction. Other elements that will be included in the business plan will be primarily the market information. So here in the market part of a business plan, the goal is to understand the positioning of a new venture, the pain point, and the segment in the market that the new venture is going to serve. This considering that generally new startups will solve a specific problem, and often this specific problem is a problem of a segment of the market. So here, from a market perspective, it's important to understand what the startup will solve, how we solve it, whether the market is large enough, the size of the market is large enough to guarantee that the new venture will be able to scale rapidly. Second chunk of information which you will find in the business plan are related to the operations. Of course, operations will be different depending on the nature of a business. So whether it's a service business or a manufacturing business or a software as a service, or a marketplace. So of course, like operation will be different. However, these should be included in the business plan. So information about the equipment, the assets, the labor skills, the personnel needed, space, could be factory space, could be only office space, technology, some ideas on the overhead, and so on and so forth. Third area of the business plan will concern about the financial needs of a new business. So minimally, this part of the business plan should include the initial investment and also the way to the profitability of a business. So how the new venture will grow, how the new venture will generate new revenues and be able to scale and reach profitability, or at least break even, meaning that the revenue will cover the cost of a business. So here, a forecast estimation will be the key to make an assessment of a financial feasibility of a business. Since the beginning, I mentioned that the business plan is a key tool addressing more than one audience. So, of course, the business plan is aimed at investors, angel investors, venture capitalists, in some cases even financial institution, because when a startup is older, then can also have access to credit given by financial institutions, basically banks. But at the same time, one key audience of a business plan is also the new hires, the new employees that will join the company. So when you join a new company, you do have a lot of questions. You really wonder what would be the environment, what would be the atmosphere, what would be the culture, what would be the workflow, responsibility, career path, and so on. And of course, the business plan to an extent can answer this. Especially if you are a technology company, you would like to get the best talents in the market. And of course, you can't compete against large corporates. Large corporates can offer a nice salary, nice benefits, safety. A large corporate is not so likely to fail compared to a young startup. So this is really crucial objective of a business plan. And so to an extent, I can say that when I originally joined our faculty at CII, it was in 2019. And so back then we were like a startup. So there was nothing, there were no offices, there were no classrooms, there were no students. There were only little people, very few people in SCII back then. To an extent, all of us, we were wondering who we are. What do we stand for? What is our uniqueness compared to other faculties in Chula, other universities in Thailand, or even globally? Why are we setting up this? So all of us were continuously seeking an answer to these questions. And then progressively we built up the materials, basically our own business plan to answer all these questions. Where we were headed to, how to achieve these objectives, and so on. And after a while, we did have enough information to have our own business plan, and whoever joined us later on in 2020, 21, 22, so they had a very solid idea of who we are, our values, our beliefs, how we work, how we manage things, and so on. So whoever is hired now, it's so much easier because they can find all this information. But at the very beginning, there were only very few documents to share this information, but it's a key point because when talents are joining your organization, and this is the same whether you are a faculty, whether you are a startup, of course, they will ask, why am I doing this? in what will happen to my career when I do this. So that's why this part of a business plan is very crucial. And I would say even in this unpredictability, it's still key to compile this information in a document that can give some sense of confidence to new hires in the organization. So just to recap on this point, the two main audiences are the firm's employees. So they would like to know how a firm operates and what sense of purpose and what achievements they can pursue after joining the organization. And then investors that would like to know the return of investment, whether this investment is feasible, what are the financial prospect or societal impact prospect of a new investment, and of course all the stakeholders of a business. Suppliers, potential distributors, so all these stakeholders, they would like to refer to a document that can give them at least some answer to their questions. To conclude on this first introduction to the business plan, so we have seen what are the main objectives of a business plan. We have seen that a business plan provides some initial assessment, evaluation of the feasibility of a venture before entering into the phase of venture creation. We also examine that two of the most important objectives of a business plan is to give information not only to investors but specifically to firms' employees. In the next video lecture, we are going to analyze in details the different components of a business plan and why some business plans fail. Stay tuned. Thank you for watching. Bye.